Today is a WRAL weather alert day. How much longer the showers stick around and the cooler night ahead.
Breaking tonight, a new report finds that hundreds of inmates released when Roy Cooper was governor have committed serious crimes. We break down the report. And does Wake County need more prosecutors? Wiley Nickel, the next district attorney, says yes, and he wants $600,000 to fund them. Why he says it's about public safety. Thank you for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Ashley Rowe. A whole lot to talk about tonight. Hundreds of released prisoners caught committing violent crimes, an $800 Duke Energy bill, and a message from the people who say they hacked into our schools. This is the newscast that wants you to participate. I know you have opinions and questions about all of this stuff, so please send us an email, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. We'd love to hear from you. First up, some breaking news involving Roy Cooper, the former North Carolina governor and Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate. This has to do with a COVID-era settlement while Cooper was the governor. It released 3,500 prisoners. Well, a New York Post report out today says 18 of those prisoners released in the settlement have been charged with murder. The Post also reports 600 of the released prisoners have since committed serious crimes. A quick recap on why they were released. The ACLU filed a case in 2020 suing over prison conditions during the pandemic. The case also led to a bunch of pandemic protocols being required in North Carolina prisons. Earlier this year, state lawmakers launched an investigation into this case. And today, Republican House Speaker Dustin Hall shared an update.
There's a lot of people on it. I know staff's been digging through, trying to get the specifics of some of those things, but it seems like every week, we learn that it's even worse than what we thought.
Cooper's campaign responded to the report with a statement that reads in part, "Keeping the public safe is Roy Cooper's top priority, which is why he refused to commute sentences when outside groups asked him to during the pandemic." And this figures to be a pivotal point in the Senate race between Cooper and Michael Whatley. We have a team of reporters working on this. Earlier this year, WRAL PolitiFact dug into claims that DeCarlos Brown, the man on your screen, was among the inmates released in the settlement. He's the man accused of killing Irina Zarutska on a Charlotte light rail train. We should say the settlement did not lead to his release. Brown actually got out 5 months earlier. But if you want the finer details, that is in the NC Capital section of WRAL.com. Like I said, we have a team of people working on this story here at WRAL. Let us know what questions you have about this. The details are just starting to come out, and we want to report on the stuff that you want to know about. So do send us an email, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com, and we'll talk about it right here at 7 o'clock. Let's move on to another story happening right now at 7. More updates out of the data breach impacting schools across our state. Brian Schrader covering this for us in the WRAL Live Center. Brian, the hackers are sharing what other schools they targeted.
That's right. And this has really taken a real turn this afternoon. While many students across the country were in Canvas, it suddenly stopped working and they got this message. This is from the group that says that it hacked into Canvas, and it basically gives a ransom notice here. It says you have until the end of Monday talking to the people that run Canvas and the school districts affected before everything is leaked. We told you last night that those hackers say they got into Canvas, and Canvas admits that they took some student ID numbers, student names, and that information apparently was exposed in that breach, and these hackers apparently are threatening to release that if those ransom demands are not met by Monday. They also released a list of individual districts all across the nation and the world affected by this. It included Wake County Schools, Durham Public Schools, UNC, Duke, and also East Carolina University. We just heard from Wake County Schools that school will go on tomorrow, even though Canvas is not working tonight. But a teacher tells WRAL News they haven't been given any guidance about what to do if Canvas is still not working tomorrow.
You're going to have to do things the good old-fashioned way, Brian. Okay, thank you. Let's get to the forecast now. Kat, people might think we're a little out of touch for talking about the drought when it's been raining all day. But this just shows we need a lot more days like this for the drought to end.
Even when you take into account the town-by-town rainfall totals today, I did the math earlier, we still need 9 to 13 inches of rain across our area. It's better than the 10 to 15 that we needed before, but we need a lot. Luckily, it was enough rain to end the burn ban for all of North Carolina. We had half an inch of rain at RDU today. The totals were about half an inch to an inch, a little less up toward Wake Forest, a little bit more toward Holly Springs and Fuquay-Varina, where over an inch of rain fell. But it was our wettest day since mid-March, wettest day in 52 days. We've got a little bit of rain left, and this is going to be moving in from the west, impacting the Sandhills next. It's right on your doorstep if you are in the Southern Pines and Pinehurst area. Sanford as well will see this move in, and southern Wake County could see impacts as this moves in from the west. Not a lot to the north. I'll have a closer look at your weekend forecast coming up.
I'm living like a vampire. No lights on in my house because I don't want my bills to go up. That is your quote of the day. I think we can all feel like that a bit sometimes. Power bills have really shot up in the last few years, about 22% since 2020. And Duke Energy wants another rate hike over the next 2 years. But the woman behind that quote, her problems with Duke Energy went way beyond rate hikes. At one point, her bill was over $800. How can a bill even get that high? Here's Keely Arthur with 5 on your side.
I'm living like a vampire. No lights on in my house because I don't want my bill to go up, any further than they already have.
To understand how she got here, you have to go back to 2024. That's when Blake, a retiree on a fixed income, signed up for Duke Energy's budget billing program. Here's how it works. Instead of your bill changing every month, your utility averages your past 12 months and gives you one set payment. It's designed to make bills more predictable. But here's the catch. At the end of the year, they compare what you paid to what you actually used. Use more energy, you owe. Use less, you get a credit. So while it smooths things out month to month, it can leave you with a bigger bill later on.
$878.62. That's what they're saying I owe now, or my lights would get cut off.
I started asking questions. Why were her bills climbing when her usage appeared similar year to year? Duke Energy says the biggest issue wasn't usage, it was missed payments. They say Blake's monthly budget billing amount, about $142, wasn't consistently paid in full.
Keely, how did this woman's story end?
So when she reached out to me, we had days before the power was going to be cut off. After I got this on Duke's radar, they were able to extend the length of time she needed to have to pay everything down. It went from about $800. She got it paid down to $375. So she still owes that. And she hasn't been connected to any of the assistance programs just yet. She's been dealing with illness. She lives alone. She's busy and living her life and struggling in different ways. So I do a lot off camera, as you know, Ashley, and I'm going to continue to push her in the direction of trying to see if she can access some of the programs available.
There are probably so many people who are watching who can relate to her story in some way or another. We know that Duke is proposing yet another rate hike, so these costs are not going down. How can people get access to help?
Well, frankly, not many people can when it comes to the criteria you have to hit in order to access help. So they have the low income energy assistance program that's administered through the state by federal funding. You have to be, I think, at 130% of the federal poverty level. That's difficult. And then that is only available during winter months. I think it starts to be available for elderly populations in December and then everybody else after. And then there's the crisis intervention program. That's year round, but again, it's still marked by income level. If you're somebody who, has something happen and you're making a good living, but you lose your job, or you go on a deployment, or you have a medical issue, something happens, there's another program. It's the Duke Energy Share the Light program. It's funneled, that money's funneled into cities and county programs. You can access that money by need needs-based, so you don't have to be at the poverty level.
That's the same program where people can donate to, ratepayers can actually donate into as well.
Yes.
What about, as you mentioned, so many people don't qualify for those different programs? So what about all those people? Is there any way that they can get their bill down?
You just kind of have to pinch pennies and be strategic about your usage. Only about 70% of the total monthly bill you're receiving is even in your control. Everything else are other Duke Energy fees that are tacked on. You can change the date at which your bill is due. So let's say you get paid at one day a month or twice a month. Whatever day is going to be best for you to have that money is a good day to maybe pay the Duke Energy bill. There's another program that rewards consumers that don't use a lot of energy during peak hours. And Duke Energy offers a program where they can come to your home and see if there are any drafts or anything that could be, bringing the bill up.
Keely, thank you. I appreciate it. You can find Keely's full story on Sophia Blake and her energy bill problems over on the WRAL YouTube page. You can also find more energy bill tips from 5 on Your Side. Just search Power Bills. Does Wake County have a public safety issue? The incoming district attorney says yes. And the problem, he says, lies in the office he's about to lead. Up next, my conversation with Wiley Nickel about his $600,000 ask to Wake County commissioners. Everybody wants more from the Wake County government, schools, law enforcement, the DA's office. And it makes sense. These are essential parts of the community. Take Wiley Nickel, Wake County's next district attorney. He doesn't start the job until next year, but he's already rattling the cages of county government. He wants $600,000 for more prosecutors. He says the DA's office doesn't have enough, and he calls it a public safety issue. Here's how he put it when I spoke to him this week.
Things will fall through the cracks. It's not a matter of if, but when. And that's why I'm out in front here trying to do all I can to make sure I ring this alarm bell for folks in Wake County to know that they don't have the resources they need in their DA's office to keep Wake County safe.
When you hear your incoming district attorney say things will fall through the cracks, that they don't have the resources to keep people safe, it's fair to ask the question, is Wake County safe? So let's explore that. A quick recap first on how this system works. Police make an arrest and they file charges. The district attorney's office takes the case and assigns a prosecutor. That prosecutor represents the public in court, tasked with getting justice. Right now, the Wake County District Attorney's Office has 45 prosecutors, and they've got a lot on their plate. Wiley Nickel says a single prosecutor handles an average of about 2,400 cases.
It's unsustainable to work that hard, to have such a huge caseload.
I mean, my to-do list is like 10 items deep, and I feel overwhelmed. I can't imagine dealing with 2,400 criminal cases. So when Nickel says things will fall through the cracks, he's saying prosecutors are stretched so thin that they're going to miss stuff, key things that could be the difference between a conviction and someone getting back on the street, right? Justice or no justice. A recent example, Ryan Camacho. He was in and out of jail for years. He scared the living daylights out of a family, stomping on their car, throwing a rock into the windshield, and shooting into their home. Camacho was known to have schizophrenia, and yet prosecutors couldn't present enough evidence for a judge to have him involuntarily committed. And then earlier this year, police say he broke into a teacher's home and killed her. We got a ton of emails about this. Bill writing, "It seems to me that the court ruled that Camacho was not dangerous based on relevant past. Seems unreasonable to ignore the past of someone convicted of shooting into buildings." Now, let me be clear. I don't have any evidence to suggest that prosecutors missed anything. But not getting Camacho involuntarily committed was a notch in the L column for the district attorney's office. And any DA's office measures success by how often they win. Nickel says, essentially, that getting more prosecutors into the DA's office sets them up to get more wins. And current district attorney Lauren Freeman tells me, yes, absolutely, more resources are necessary to better meet the needs of victims. But does that mean the current resources are inadequate? A 2023 study by the National Center for State Courts found Wake County is short more than 13 prosecutors. So it's not just Wiley Nickel saying that we need more. Let's compare Wake County and Mecklenburg County. The population sizes are nearly identical. But in the DA's office, there is a disparity. The Mecklenburg County DA's office has about 50 more prosecutors than Wake. They have more than double the resources. And yet, last year, Wake County was essentially more efficient, closing cases faster than Mecklenburg County. Not only that, Wake County won most of those cases, guilty as charged in 51% of the felony cases. Mecklenburg was 30%. One could argue that the Wake County District Attorney's Office is doing pretty well despite having fewer resources. But that's today. And we know Wake County is growing. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the U.S. And despite working efficiently, there's still a pretty serious backlog. Last year's state numbers show about 11,000 cases in Wake County were still without a resolution. They're pending. So with all that in mind, at what point does efficiency reach a breaking point?
We don't have enough resources right now from the state. So what I'm left to do is go to other places to get more resources to keep our community safe. And in Mecklenburg County, they addressed this issue a few years ago, and the Mecklenburg County Board of Commissioners funded close to $7 million a year to support the DA's office and the courts. And I'm asking Wake County to start that process and do the same.
Now, to be fair, in a proposal for the new state budget, there's an ask there to carve out 5 new prosecutors for the Wake County DA's office. The problem is lawmakers are having trouble passing the state budget. So it's understandable why Nickel is going to the county government for money instead. But like I said at the beginning of all of this, everybody wants more from the Wake County government, and there are only so many dollars to go around. And with fewer dollars expected from the state, it appears the pot is only getting smaller. Either way, these are your tax dollars, so I want to know, what do you think we should do? Send us an email, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Should we spend the money like Nickel says we should? Or would you rather see it spent on something else? Tell us what's on your mind, and we'll talk about it here at 7 o'clock. Kat?
I got to tell you about a big change that is coming our way. We've been talking about the rain, because we needed the rain, and that was the big headline today. But I don't want you to be caught off guard with these numbers tomorrow morning. Check it out. Roxborough, 43 degrees at the bus stop in the morning, 47 in Raleigh, 48 in Rocky Mount, and near 50 for Goldsboro and Fayetteville. Chilly to start tomorrow morning. You're going to want to dress in layers. It does end up being a beautiful Friday, though, mostly sunny with a high in the low 70s by the time the kids head home. We're not done with the rain just yet. The dual Doppler 5000 radar has the rain moving through the sandhills right now. Just a little bit of rain in the northern part of Wake County, but this is really the zone that we're watching. That's going to continue to push to the east. And keep in mind, Southern Pines has already seen over an inch of rainfall, an inch and a quarter. They're just going to be adding to that number. Fayetteville, Harnett County, you're likely to see even more rain as well. We had just over 3/4 of an inch in downtown Raleigh today. And while those numbers are wonderful to see, I did the math for you, and this is how much rain we still need. So I took the rainfall deficit, or the rain needed to end the drought in 1 month, minus the amount of rain that we saw today. Here's the numbers I got. Over 11 inches in Roxborough, as well as Durham. Over 12 inches in Raleigh. About 11 inches in Fayetteville. Still 13 inches in Southern Pines, and about 9 inches in Goldsboro. The severe drought continues for the areas in orange. Extreme drought, which is a tier worse for the areas in red, including the Triangle. Of course, that was updated today, but it does not include the rainfall that we saw during the day today and even yesterday's rain. Our next weather maker brings more rain chances, but it's not going to be the type of rain like what we saw today. Here are the updates to your weekend forecast today. It's trending warmer, highs in the low to mid 80s. We've got a 40% chance of rain Saturday and a 30% chance of rain on Sunday. Here's my thinking. Late Saturday morning into the early afternoon, some scattered showers could roll through. It's not an all-day rain. Not everybody's going to see them. I will say the models are actually trending a little bit drier for Mother's Day on Sunday. Still a couple of isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder during the evening showing up on our latest in-house model. But from what I'm seeing, we are seeing those totals really go down. So not a washout this weekend. A little lull in the rain there in Lewisburg as we head into tonight. Just a couple of those showers in the southern part of our viewing area, but those are going to be moving out as we head into the late night hours. The bottom line here, your rain gauge could still fill up a little bit more. It's great to see this rain. We dry out just in time for a beautiful Friday. A couple of showers this weekend, and then a better rain chance comes Monday. Ashley.
All right, thank you so much. Hey, a big crowd is going to show up at Fenton on Saturday morning. Maybe you'll want to join them. It's a march for babies. One last thing after the break. One last thing before we go. We want to highlight an event taking place this weekend at Fenton in Cary. It's a March for Babies. These are pictures from last year's march. It's all about raising money and awareness for families with babies in the NICU. Families whose newborns had to spend time in the NICU and make up a big part of the crowd. Everybody celebrating their little miracles, doing their part to create miracles for future families. One of these families emailed 7 p.m. at WRAL.com telling us about the event and their son Oliver. He was born weighing less than 1 pound. Last year, his parents gave a speech honoring him and all the other babies who faced similar challenges.
I look out and I see so many families who have been positively impacted by the NICU and who have gotten to witness firsthand the strength that these premature babies have. Oliver and his NICU friends are proof that miracles exist.
Wow, Oliver's amazing. The march this Saturday, 9 a.m. at Fenton. You can find more details on marchforbabies.org. Hey, we got a ton of emails from a whole lot of you, specifically about our top story, the number of people who were released from prison under Roy Cooper's administration and had reoffended. We're going to get to a lot of those emails. Keep them coming. We want to hear from you. 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.